Alright, hey, it's Rob, and there's the Maverick. Today I'm going to try to do a video about the lane keeping feature of my Maverick XLT 2.0 EcoBoost. There are a couple lane centering systems depending on the level of trim you buy on your vehicle. Like I said, mine is just a 2.0 EcoBoost with the XLT, which means I get something called lane keeping. Lane keeping you can think of as two separate systems, one on the left, one on the right. And each one will look at the lane on the side it happens to be on and kind of bounce you back gently from either side if it sees you are about to cross the lane. We're going to put it to the test and see if it really works that well. I'm going to set it up with the, I think it's low, medium, and high. So we're going to have the high, the most amount of lane keeping that you can do on this vehicle. And I'll give you some commentary, some play-by-play as we're doing it, and we'll see how it goes. If you get the Lariat Lux model, I believe what you have is lane centering. Lane centering is different. It's like an all-encompassing system that works together with your adaptive cruise control, so it keeps your distance from the front of a vehicle that you're following. I think it only works when the cruise control is on. I could be wrong about that. But lane centering actually looks at the left and the right simultaneously and basically keeps you in the middle of those two lines. So those are the two different systems. Like I said, we're going to fire up lane keeping here, which I don't use very much. It's okay. I think it works a lot better than I ever expected it would, but I just feel better, driving the car myself, but you may love it. So let's see what happens. Now, as you can see, I don't have adaptive cruise control, which would be a big blocked out area on the front of the grille here. I think it's below the Ford logo. I don't know, because I ain't got it. But what I'm running here today is something called the RunCam 4K. And it's a camera that is used for, I think, model airplanes, but I've got it Velcroed right down there so we can see the road, the lines, and I'm going to run a simultaneous audio track. You're not going to see me, but you will see the road, and I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'll tell you if my hand's on the wheel, I'll tell you if the Maverick is doing the work or if I'm doing it. We've got a recorder rolling, we've got a camera rolling. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, flash. There we go. So that would sync us up here. And we're going to hit the road. I've got the lane keeping on at the highest level here. And backing out of the driveway, we're going to try to do a little bit of side street driving. And then we'll do some freeway. I've got a pretty cool loop that we do with a nice little feeder road that I like to go about 70 miles an hour on. Anyway, and I'll describe what's happening as I am driving the Maverick. Hopefully this will sync up pretty well. Sometimes this camera gets a little bogged down and sometimes it shuts off altogether. So we'll see how we do. We're coming up right here to the intersection on my street. And once we get some lane markings in here, we will see how it does. All right, so in between the lanes right now, if you can see them, and it's bouncing to the right, and it's right over the white lane. Should be active. Hopefully it works. Let's see, some dotted lines. There we go. Now it is putting me back into the center. Some dotted lines here. It's beeping, it's alerting, and putting me back into the center. We'll see. Obviously, there are different parameters, way this thing functions, different speeds, what it does at them that I am wholly unaware of. But I do know that if you have your lane keeping on and you put the turn signal on, I think it disengages, because I think that makes sense to say, hey, I know I'm actually making a turn, so I'm not going to try to push the car back into the lane that this person is trying to get out of. Makes sense to me. We still got a camera rolling. That's good news up here under the bridge. Hopefully not too much downtime as we are Rocking and rolling onto the East 285 freeway in Atlanta. Of course, there'll be a ton of traffic, as there always is here. What a joy. All right, left turn here. And the on-ramp here. Taking my hands off the wheel on the on-ramp. It's going over to the dots and right over the side. So, didn't do anything for me there. Again, maybe there's a speed component here where you've got to be going a certain speed before it kicks in. Should have maybe done a little bit of research on the lane keeping. But like I said, I know it's different than the lane centering, which puts you in the middle of the two lines. The systems work together left and right. This is just lane keeping, which will bounce you from one side to the other. All right, we're in the right lane here. I'm going to try not to hit any cars. And I'll center myself here. My hands off the wheel. Here's a white solid line, and it's pushing me back. Now it pushed me to the other side, and it's pushing me back and forth. It gets to a point where it just can't handle it, obviously. So it bounced me right there from the solid center line to the dotted line. It bounced me back again, and then it said, forget it. Another thing, of course, the system will insist that you put your hands on the wheel. It's going to give you a warning. And I get a visual indication if I have the screen on here. It says keep my hands on the wheel. So I'm lightly holding my hand on the wheel, but not forcing it in any direction. I was up against the dotted lines, and it pushed me back. No adaptive cruise control or anything, so I got to hit the brakes myself. And all right, we'll see how we're doing here. Rolling right along. We're going to get off here in just a second. Looks like the video's bogging down, and I can't tell what that means. Going off towards the right dots here, and it pushed me back. And we're making a left turn. I'm going to hit a car, so I'm going to control the steering wheel myself for a minute here. But all right, nobody on the left. Going towards the left, and yes, it pushes me back. But it pushes me back so far that I'm going back and forth, you know, like a boat. I'm rocking back and forth on this system, and at some point it's just going to say, forget it. I can only do so much. We'll get over here. Once again, turn signal on, meaning that it's going to shut down the system, I believe. My blind spot indicator is telling me there's a car there. I see it. Getting over to the right. All right, and we are now in our own lane. Solid white line on the right, and it bounced me back off of it. But I'm still having to put my hand on the wheel. I still don't trust it. I mean, it's extreme. It's really going left and right. I'm not sure if you can see it, but this level of lane keeping really sends you violently from one side to the other. So maybe the medium type of lane keeping, the medium level lane keeping would be more appropriate. I'm not sure. All right, but anyway, we're going to get on this Chambly Tucker here, which is a great little road. My white line's on the right, and it's, yeah, pushing me a little, but I'm still going over them. All right, and we're getting on to Chambly Tucker here. Let's see, hopefully we'll have some lines that we'll try to follow. I'm hitting the left side, and it's going to send me right over them. So, yeah, it's, you know, I don't know, maybe not ready for prime time. I'm hitting the right ones, and it's pushing me back towards the left. Now I'm hitting the right ones, and I'm driving right over them. So it seems like it can make two corrections, but it won't make the third. I'm going pretty fast now, and right over the white lines. It's not even bothering with me anymore. Yellow lines on the left, I'm coming over them too fast. Again, not going to keep me in there. So there's a range, I think, where it'll keep you in the lanes. At some point, it just gives up on you and says, forget it, you're a terrible driver. You don't know what you're doing. And, yeah, good luck to you, sir. All right. We're going to see the homeless people that are always standing here with their signs. And maybe you can read what it says. I don't know. Share a blessing with someone today. God blesses you. All right, very nice sentiment. And my camera's finally catching up here. I can't tell whether you're going to see jumpy video or it's just the Wi-Fi to my phone. We're on about 7 minutes here. Turning around, and we will come around right back onto the freeway again. Got some white and yellow lines here. White line, it is not really centering me. Again, when you make these kind of videos, it's like, yeah, how much, further into that lane do I want to go? I see cars and traffic and all sorts of stuff. Let's see. We'll go to menu. We will go to lane keeping system. We will go from intensity high to intensity normal. All right. So now this will be pretty good. We're on the normal level lane keeping system. I've got the driver assist display up, which of course you can't see, but I'll tell you about it. And that kind of shows you which lane it's going to bounce you off of. You get a visual indication of that. All right, so I've got some white dots to my right here, no cars. Let's see what it does. And it didn't do anything. So I was going about 40. It wasn't interested in keeping me in the lane. Solid lines here on the freeway. I'm doing about 60. And yes, okay, gently sends me back. I've got to get out of this lane actually, and it's kind of resisting me now. I mean, that's the problem with this system, is when you want to turn or when you want to lean towards one side of the lane, of course it's going to do whatever it wants to do, not what you want to do. All right, so solid line on the right, and it is gently pushing me back. This obviously, I think it's going to work a little better to have it in this normal mode, just because it is not intensely pushing you. Keep hands on steering wheel, it's warning me, so I have to do that. Lightly put my hand on the steering wheel. I know people with Teslas hang weights and stuff on the steering wheels, get in accidents because they're running self-driving. Yeah, not really my thing. But I will say, if you have the Lariat Lux and you have adaptive cruise control and you have lane centering on an open road where you don't have a lot of traffic, etc., it really is almost like self-driving. It'll keep you from a distance, the car in front of you, and it'll keep you in your lanes in theory. And yeah, I'm sure it's great. I actually just rented a Hyundai Tucson that had those features, and it really did work pretty well. Obviously, different manufacturers do this stuff different ways, and you'll have different results. All right, I'm in the center of a lane here. Oh, there's a Mustang next to me. I'm not gonna try to hit that. So we will just take our hand off the wheel here in the center of the lane. Now there's no one on my left. It's bouncing me to the left and back towards the center, centering out. Now it's telling me to put my hands on the wheel. So like I said, it'll rock you back and forth a couple times, and then it's gonna say, forget it. Not interested at this point. If you're not gonna do some of the work, I'm not doing, all the heavy lifting for you. All right, center of the lane, going towards the left, bouncing me back towards the middle. Now I'm bouncing back towards the right. There is a truck there. It's totally aware I don't have my hands on the wheel. So I guess I'll keep my hands on the wheel lightly, like I say. See what it does. Going towards the right, and it bounces me back pretty harshly to the left and then back to the right. And what we've already determined in this video is once you get one cycle of bouncing from the right lane to the left lane and back, then I think it just kind of gives up on you. It's like, forget it. It'll help you to a certain degree, and then after that, you are on your own. Good luck. All right, getting off the freeway here. We did our little loop. It looks like the camera kept tracking. This camera's pretty cool, but it will kind of lose touch with the phone. It'll shut down. I don't know. Right lane here. I'm going right over it. Yep, and it's bouncing me off. So for a one-time event, I think if you have your eyes off the road for a second, this is pretty good. But of course, the downside is you have to have the system on all the time, doing things that you really don't want it to do, just to get that one-time benefit when it's doing something you would like it to do. All right, finally heading home. I'm in between dotted lines on the right, solid lines on the left, and I have just gone over the dotted lines. It doesn't care. It doesn't seem to activate in lower speeds for me. It doesn't feel like it's pulling at all, so it really only feels like it's going to do it when I'm up at 50, 60 miles an hour, maybe. Not sure. Really don't want to get a ticket to find out, but solid white lines on the right coming home, not keeping me in them, and I'm doing 45 miles an hour. So, system has limited appeal. Like I said, I don't run it. even at the lowest setting, it still is gonna do funky things, give you, you know, pressure on the wheel when you really don't want it. The systems I do like on this, I love the brake hold. I keep that on all the time. And when I'm stopped at a light, take my foot off the gas, car doesn't go anywhere. And I'm fine with the auto start too. It's really gentle. I hardly even notice it's happening at all. Back into my parking space here. And yeah, so that's my review of the lane keeping feature of the Maverick. Final thoughts. It's okay. It will save you if you really take your eyes off the road for a second and bounce you back where you're supposed to be. But it is not self-driving. It's not going to keep you in the middle of the lane for any length of time. You get 1, 2 bounces, and then that's it. It's going to bounce you right into another car. All right. This is Rob signing off for now. And we'll see you later with some more Maverick tricks and tips in future videos. Like and subscribe. Do all that stuff. Thanks. Bye.